All right, a very good morning to you. Good to see you on this Tuesday morning, and I hope that you're ready to face the day. But we want to have a very important conversation today, as always, and it's all about the devolution at 10, and we want to focus on the same, on Wanjiku, the impact of devolution on Wanjiku, as they always say, right? And we want to interrogate the hits, the misses, and what should be done better to improve the services as we all deserve as Kenyans. Because a decade ago, with the new constitution, Kenya embarked on the path of devolution, which has transformed in fundamental ways its governance and service delivery landscape. And commemorating this milestone at the Kenya Devolution Conference, themed 10 years of devolution, the present and the future, which starts today all the way to 19th. This is an opportunity provided to reflect on the impact of devolution, its challenges, and the pathways for the future. So the question that we're asking you today, very simple, and that is, have you felt the impact of devolution in your respective county? The question again is, have you felt the impact of devolution in your respective county? Feel free to interact with us on our socials at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on Twitter, and tag me as well at Lubembe_Winnie. And of course, we'll be sampling your feedback as we continue with the conversations all about you today. We need to hear from you as far as, you know, what you think about devolution. Have you seen the impact or not? And what is it that you think could have been done better? But before I sample of your feedback, I'm pretty sure that you can see a QR code at the bottom of your screen. And what we need you to do is to scan it using your device, and then it will take you to a Google document where we'll ask you very simple questions, few questions, and this is as far as our products are concerned, either our news products and our shows as well, and of course in this case your world. So we want to hear what you have to say as far as what you feel about the show, the improvements that you need to see at the same time, because again, like we always say, in as much as this is our show, it's your show as well, and we listen to you and we listen to your feedback. So we look forward to have your feedback on the same. So it's very simple. Scan the QR code, it will take you to a Google document, and that is where you can interact with us, answer a few questions, and yeah, let's see what you have to say. So on the question of the day that we're asking you, and that is, have you felt the impact of devolution in your county? Quickly before I introduce my guest, someone says, this is Rutere Kagendo on Facebook, says, no doubt, some places little, some places a whole lot of impact. Yote tisa, devolution was the best move. What needs to happen now is to continuously and deliberately devolve the minds of those in charge of resources from their selfish interest to the interests of the majority who are in dire need of better services. If we achieve this, devolution will have achieved a development revolution. Then we shall call it devolution revolution. Okay. And then someone else says, well done. Hofstad, still on Facebook, that who says, not at all. All I have seen are just mega scandals, corruption, and so many malpractices that have dragged our vision as a country. What do you feel about the same? At NTV Kenya, like we said, both on Facebook and on Twitter is how you can reach us, and we look forward to hear what you have to say. But very quickly, on my guests this morning, we have Honorable Kivuta Kibwana, who's a former governor, Makueni County, and he was also feted as for outstanding devolution implementation. Good to have you this morning, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and thank you very much for having me on this show. And I say good morning to Kenya.
Most welcome.
Devolution 10.
Most welcome, all the way from Makueni.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for also sparing time to join this conversation this morning. And we also have, on my immediate left, we have Bosco Mutegi, who's a governance and leadership expert. Good to have you this morning. Karibu sana on the show. We also have Charles Nguna, MP, Mwingi West. Good to have you this morning. How are you doing?
Thank you.
Karibu sana. And last but not least, we have Kiruga Meshak Thuku, who's Chinga MCA. Good to have you as well. this morning. And I just want to begin on the basic scorecard, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you guys rate devolution at 10? And I'm going to begin with you, Honorable Kivutha Kibwana. Again, like I said, you're feted for outstanding devolution implementation. Makueni was, one of the pace setters as far as devolution and even seeing the changes. So how would you rate this whole process and the progress that we've made so far up until now on a scale of 1 to 10?
Well, devolution is 10 and 10 years old, and like a 10-year-old would be in standard 4. So it's really just beginning. And, I would really say 6 to 7. Okay. And 1, of course, will explain as we go on why.
Okay, 6 to 7. Very quick. I like that. Okay. How would you rate it? Let me begin with you, Charles.
I'll give 5.
5?
Yes.
Okay. Well, yes, I need to understand.
I'll give the reason later.
Okay.
Yes.
Quick fire. Okay.
Good morning. I'll give it 8.
8?
Yes.
Solid 8?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I'll give it a 6.
6.
Yes.
So 6 to 7 from Honorable, 5, 8, and 6.
Yes.
Why? Why the 6?
Because it misses and success stories.
Okay.
Because if you look at devolution and how it was brought through the Constitution, it was supposed to bring power to the people in the villages.
Okay.
And it has happened in one way. But it has its fair share of challenges. If you look at health, if you look at mostly with the health, and you look at other issues of leadership, corruption, and all these things.
Okay.
So it has fair share of its challenges, but it has worked in one way or the other.
Okay.
Yes.
One way or the other. So kwapo katikati. Okay. All right. Why?
I'm giving 5 because we have seen success in some counties and others we have seen failures. For example, let me congratulate my uncle here, Kivutha Kibwana, for what he implemented in Makueni, and also my governor, Malombe. He was rated as one of the best in the country. But when you look at some other counties, for instance, last term, my governor Ngilu performed badly, and she was literally chased because of corruption. The counties became employment bureau, and a lot of these contracts were overinflated. Value for money, the 3 economies, that is efficiency, effectiveness, and even the economy was not achieved.
Okay.
So that's why I'm giving it at 5%.
Okay.
And 50%, 50-50.
Okay,
yes.
50-50. So
yes.
Una kidogo hapa and then
yes, there are some things
ingine imekataa that we need to, there's
Yeah.
clearly a lot of work that
Yes,
needs to
yeah.
be done. You've given it an 8. Before I hear from you, why the 8? Because the one who's given devolution the highest score. Let me hear from Honorable Kivutha Kibwana. 6 to 7, yeah? Thereabout. Why?
Well, first of all, I think initially 1963 to 66, the devolution that was in the Katiba, which even legally and in terms of the finances coming to the regions was even superior, did not last long. Okay. It lasted just up to 66. But this devolution now is within the Constitution, has lasted for now 10 years. So it's here to stay. And if you consider other countries where devolution, decentralization started, you will find that it's not always easy, and it takes a long time. Even in America, where they have had it for a long time, it takes a long time to mature. And I think when you consider the African case, when you look at examples like South Africa, like Nigeria, some of the examples with farmer devolution systems, we are doing very reasonably very well. And again, when you go to these counties, there are services which never existed. Health services, no theaters, like in northeastern Kenya, no roads. Yeah. Even people used to say they are not in Kenya. So I think, of course, sometimes we are hard on ourselves. Corruption, exists at national, county level. It shouldn't. That's one thing that we should focus on. But on the whole, you go to these counties and you see new towns. You see, many people in employment, and you see some services really like health, going to the very grassroots. So that's why I said, 6 to 7. Of course, there are issues, and that's why one couldn't say, 10 or 9.
All right. Again, like we said, you were one of the, governors who were really feted for outstanding performance when it comes to devolution and also the implementation of the same. What is it that you would say worked for you and for Makueni County during your tenure that set you apart, and something that even the governors now could, one way or the other implement? Because I expected you to give like a higher score, or maybe a 9.
No, because I was not rating Makueni. I was rating all the counties in Kenya.
But for Makueni, you would give it what, a solid 10?
One has to be careful. They don't say they did very well. It's not for me to judge. It's for others to do so. But I think what really for me worked was we saw that the Constitution said, Article 1, that power, belongs to the people. And so we were doing devolution with the people. We asked them, what is it that you want? Like they said, for example, they want health. Because they have had big issues with, there are all those medical arambis. There is, people sell land and livestock to go to hospital. People are detained in hospitals. People die at home because they can't go to hospital. There are, others delay in, seeking health services. So, we were focusing on the things that we were told these are the issues. We again focused on public participation, so that whether it's budgets, is their resources, let them say what they want. Again, value addition, so that if it's their mangoes, if it's a bit of their milk, a bit of their pulses, we would really be guided by them. And of course, we made sure that corruption was minimized, because one can't say there is zero, corruption anywhere. But when you get people who are doing wrong things, you sack them. And sometimes, we sacked even people who are friends. And we made sure that there was a system of open contracting, so that all information about contracts was in the open domain. And therefore, even our employees knew that they could be caught if they did wrong things. So I think it is really, even having a people's government from village level where they make decisions, having contracts, having performance PMCs, that is, you have project management committees where the beneficiaries are in charge, and you can't get paid if they don't say, if they say no, you can't get paid. So it's really, how do you involve the people?
Giving the power to the people.
Make sure that it's yes, and it's what they want. And so that's what worked for me, and that's what I think will work for devolution, because it's supposed to really reach the people at the bottom.
Be people-centered as compared to. I see that. I hear you. But I'm also curious to see some of the areas that maybe you feel you could have done better, so that we give you 100% when it comes to service delivery. But I'll come back to you for that. Again, Kirunga, you said a solid 8.
Yes.
Why?
Before I give my why, let me first congratulate Governor Kibwana.
Okay.
Because, of course, we've interacted largely even when we were campaigning for Mzee Kibaki. It's always someone I've always really admired. And he never disappointed as a governor. Now that we are realizing the political ladder, we want to emulate him. Now, I said 8 because this is my second term as an MCA. And I really want to thank my governor, Governor Mutahi Kahiga, because what he did, he started something akin to the ward fund. And that's why MCAs, we have been fighting really for this ward fund. And we created a system where MCAs would go back to their wards, they identify the projects together with their people, they bring them on board, they are adopted by the county government, they are implemented. Imagine some bridges which could not even be made during President Kibaki's time, and you know the way Mzee worked for us. But still some key bridges like Machiliongo, Hakamune. You know, I'm being deliberate so that people can know I'm speaking the truth, because people on the ground. But
no, so are you speaking for your county, or because the solid 8 for
You speak
overall?
You speak for the hand.
No, but I want to hear your
So I've been part of that implementation.
Okay.
And largely the country has grown very much. And the success case of Nyeri County is what we are using even to urge the country, to urge the MPs, to urge the governors. We support this ward-fed crusade because it's been proved when the resources go to the wards.
Yeah.
In fact, that is the process. We come to this one man, one shilling, one vote, mantra.
Yeah.
So, the grassroots development that has been witnessed via devolution speaks immensely for itself.
Okay.
So, when we create the right systems, it will work. And you see, for devolution even to work even better, because we have said, to have worked very well, there is potential to work better. That's why we are saying, because you see, like, I have heard Mheshimiwa mention, I have heard the governor mention it, that we minimize corruption. And in order for this to happen, that's why we need financial autonomy of our assemblies, such that when assemblies oversight the governors, they are not, those fights don't erupt.
There's
now
always that rift between the MCAs and the governors.
Yeah, now the conflict comes, it mostly comes because of that oversight.
Because that then impedes, impedes the service delivery to the people. Because if you're constantly fighting, when do you get time to offer services to the people?
Yeah, that's why we have been saying, and I really want to thank His Excellency the President, because he has committed himself.
Okay.
He supports the autonomy of the assemblies. He supports the ward fund. And also, most importantly, and which is a very big plus for the devolution. Okay. For the first time, the national government doesn't owe a penny to the county government, and this extends to the MPs. I'm sure Mheshimiwa will thank the president here, because even the CDF have been given.
There's always that big issue with CDF.
Yes, I'm giving vibe. That's 50%, number one, because we have seen some success in some counties. Okay. Not all of them. We have seen the issue of infrastructure like roads. A lot of dispensaries have been built, of course, but they don't have medicine. Yeah. A lot of roads opening up, some areas which even vehicle never used to travel. We've seen. We've seen a couple of nice buildings coming up in major cities and even towns. Yeah. So that's why I'm giving 5%. But on the issue of corruption, it has really tainted devolution.
There's a very big issue.
To deal with the employment. Some of the staff, they just go to office idly. They don't have much work to do, and you find majority of the counties have even gone beyond the threshold of what is supposed to go to recurrent expenditure to development expenditure. Yeah. That's why I'm giving 5%. Okay. But we can still correct it. Devolution depends on what kind of leaders you are electing. Yeah. If you elect a bad governor, you are bound to fail. Bad MCAs who are just going there to enrich themselves, you will fail terribly. So some of the counties have been a success. Industries have been built. Like Kikotech was good in Kitui County. It was televised, it was done, but now the aspect of revenue collection tainted everything, and it became a failure. Yeah. I like what McGwen implemented, the mango factory. Even our governor here did a lot of work in terms of medical issues, partnering with other developmental agencies, and I think it can work if properly managed. But wananchi need to be very careful who they are electing. It all depends about leadership. But devolution, I fully support. Even I was thinking of we should be having 50% sharing, and then we devolve some of the functions further. Okay. So 50%, yes, we have achieved. Okay. Yes.
All right. But should we get to this point where we say, it has tried, because we elect these leaders, we elect new governments, right? And we expect the best from the government, from our leaders. So yeah, kusema, oh, I mean, you know, we have tried. There's a few issues because corruption does not exist on its own. It is the people who are corrupt that, you know, end up messing up the whole system. So should we be at this point where we're like, you know what, I mean, ni sawa tu ile kidogo wametupatia, we take, lakini we, you know, we expect more.
Okay, Winnie, also I want to take this opportunity and congratulate the good professor for what he has done for our country in large and for Makueni County. He has talked about the fruit processing issue, and he also opened the water problem that was in Makueni and other things that he has done. So we congratulate him and we thank him, and also for being feted.
Yeah.
I want to look at the whole of devolution in 3 aspects.
Okay.
If you look at devolution from the political, the finance, and the administrative point of view.
Yeah.
On the political, the devolution has enriched our democracy because the political aspect, it has brought even women representative positions. It has brought leadership to the level of the village level. Let me call it that. Mheshimiwa, he knows what I mean with that. At the ward level. Yeah. I mean, at the ward level, the MCA is always with the people. He understands the problems, and nowadays, the MCA will tell you they have to do public participation, which is enshrined in our constitution. Yeah. You don't just wake up and tell people, I want to build a school here, I want to build a hospital here, or something like that. So you have to involve the people. The whole essence of the devolution was to bring power down to the people. Okay. Both the financial aspect, the administrative aspect, and also the political aspect. The people elect their governor, elected leaders, who the people who represent their people, who represent them. Yeah. That is the governor, senator, and all that. There's a problem with the oversight a little bit, and that's why there's a challenge of the corruption. But we need to ask ourselves, what are we comparing with? Where did we come from? The last regime does not mean when the power was in Nairobi, there was no corruption. The corruption was there. It was, people say it was devolved, but we look
corruption
at
was devolved.
That's what people say. But now you look at what is happening, and first of all, the counties had challenges with making templates. Yeah. I was one of the people who was involved in making templates for some of the counties, and we appreciate what has happened in these counties. Now that is, I talked about the.
Wait, so you're saying corruption has sort of like reduced now? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm just saying we cannot say now that corruption is in the county. It may be more in the counties, but we're asking ourselves, what are we comparing with? Okay.
Also,
remember where we came from, the Kanu regime and all that. So we are not angels. These things are run by human beings. Yeah. And for you to reduce the corruption, you need to introduce technology in things like revenue collection from the counties. Yeah. So when you talk about the political aspect, democracy has been enriched in one way. Now, when you talk about the finance aspect, we have seen the challenges that are there, sharing of equitable revenue, sharing of the resources and all that. People think that the national government is supposed to give funds to the counties. No, it's just the normal cake, the normal taxes, the normal own source revenue from the counties that we share. It's not something special that the national government is giving counties money. No, this is our money. Everyone has contributed to this money. Okay. Now that's the financial aspect. The last one is the administrative. The administrative aspect has a fair share of its own challenges. Okay. Because now, when the devolution came in, people had to bring manpower, let's say the CECs, the chief officers, and all that. It has its own financial implications, but is it working? That's why I give it a 6. It is working, but we have areas of improvement. That's where I see counties are, and that's how we are supposed to think of new ways of coming up with revenue, making money, and improving what we have. And we need to accommodate each other at the end of the day. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'll come back to you for more. But we need to take a break very quickly. But I wanted to have a moment to hear what Honorable Kivutha Kibwana has to say, and especially when we're talking about budget, finance, the revenue allocation, and the collection as well. But I don't want to rush you, sir. So let's just take that break. But when we come back, we'll pick up from there. But remember the question that we're asking you, and that is, have you felt the impact of devolution in your county? County. And David Muriu very quickly says, yes, County number 18 in terms of improvement and maintenance of feeder roads. And then Mbole Henry says, yes, they are much better than before devolution. And then Mukonyo Duncan says, Nyamira County, shida iko kubwa sana. Ni kama shida, ziliamka. I think that's what you meant. Shida iko kubwa sana. All right, so keep sending in your views. And that is at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on Twitter. Tag me as well, at Lubembe_Winnie. We pick up the conversation after the break. Stay with us. This is Your World.
Benefits of ordering with Glovo. Glovo allows you to order anything you want at the comfort and convenience of your home. Craving fried chicken or pilau or pizza? Easy and simple. Order on Glovo today. Glovo, order anything, we deliver in minutes. With Glovo, you order anything unataka, and when you get it, una celebrate because kukuchoma imefika, na wakati keki inafika ndio sherehe inaanza. Order Glovo, will deliver in minutes.
Imagine 10 people you know and love. Imagine if any of them needed blood immediately. This is a reality. Every 10 minutes, 10 people in Kenya need blood. Be it a mother in a maternity ward, an accident case, a surgery, or even a lifelong medical condition. These people need your help. Why don't you be their hero? Your timely voluntary blood donations will ensure our blood banks never dry up. Save a life today. Donate blood regularly at a county blood donation satellite near you. Changia damu, okoa maisha. Be the lifeline.
Misha!
What? Why don't you go and help Adita?
What's wrong? Tell me.
It's none of your business.
I'm your doctor. I was the one who operated on you.
And I'm sure that they're gonna kill the both of us. Call the police right now.
I thought you were a decent man. That you saved so many lives. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
To protect our family from germs that cause illness when it's cold, we use Dettol soap.
Dettol soap with germ defense gives you protection. When it's cold, germs are transferred in different ways, and Dettol soap's germ defense protects you from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure.
The shillings, the cents, the billings, the debt. I bring it in depth, the full length and breadth. Business redefined. I am Julians Amboko, and this is NTV.
The world unites as the FIFA Women's World Cup comes alive on your screens. Feel the adrenaline, embrace the passion, and support your favorite teams in their quest for glory. From the thrill of the group stages to the intensity of the knockout rounds, every moment counts. Join us on NTV as we bring you every exhilarating match, every kick, every save, and every single victory.
And it's a spectacular goal!
The FIFA Women's World Cup, exclusively on NTV, your front row seat to greatness.
All right, welcome back. 35 minutes past the hour. Time really flies, and we have so much ground to cover as far as the conversation today, and that is on devolution. And it is devolution at 10, and of course begins today actually in Uasin Gishu County, to be specific, in Eldoret from 15th to 19th, and the theme for this year is 10 years of devolution, the present and the future, and of course under the driving transformation from the local level, county governments as the center of economic development. But even so, we still want to figure out from you, and that is, have you felt the impact of devolution 10 years later? That is the question that we're asking you today. Can we sample a few of what you guys have to say? Nani? The name. Megotech Publishers Kisumu Limited on Facebook says, devolution has enhanced development of rural economies. The impact is immeasurable. And then Vin K says, impact is in some areas because many counties use their money to fuel expensive vehicles to go around without any inspection. Yeah? And continues to say, I wonder when I hear the governor saying how they need more money from national government when they are misusing the little that they have. All right? And then, Fred Moriasi says, a lot. Number one, relatives are being employed, leaving out the qualified experts. Okay. Number two, rural roads are accessible. Water projects are on other levels. There is development of local industries. People are moving from urban areas to develop their counties. We love our counties. That relatives aspect, and then we leave out we leave out experts. Shouldn't be happening. But Honorable Kibutha Kibwana, I wonder what you have to say as far as governors moving around in very expensive vehicles, and then very expensive to fuel, and then they need more money to fuel the same, as compared to, you know, offering this very much needed services to the people. And I'd also want you to speak on corruption as well, because I think we've gotten to a point where we have normalized corruption in this country, which is a very, very big problem. And almost all of us here on the panel today have talked about corruption. But what do you have to say to what the people are saying, especially those ones who are blaming the governors as far as what is happening in our counties?
Well, I think the governor is an endangered species because, you know, sometimes even senators in the county, you know, do not support the governor and the county executive. The county assemblies sometimes are also fighting governors. The MPs sometimes in some of the, you know, counties are fighting the governor. So I think they really do a lot of work. And if you look at all the each year, the chair of the Council of Governors gives a report about how the 14 functions have been implemented. The functions, the Schedule 4 functions of the county government. And if one really traces all that, one will see there have been changes that never used to be when there was only the national government, and actually people began to feel the government when now devolution became entrenched in our country. So I think we have to be careful, because there is a narrative, particularly from some officers in the national government, of trying to put down counties because they are beginning to, you know, produce better health services, you know, some things in agriculture and so on. And of course, there are the challenges, which I admit as my co-panelists have indicated. And so even when it comes to corruption, there is normally a lot of anecdotal evidence. And there isn't, like, you know, a study which says, you know, if you look at the corruption at the national level and if you look at the corruption at the county level, you know, how do you compare those? Because there's only 15% at the county level, and a lot of that goes into salaries, it goes into O&M. So I think, again, we really have to be supportive of these people who are founding new governments. And again, sometimes actually you get some of the party big officials asking for contracts from governors, some of them even asking for money to support the party, and so on and so forth. So, you know, sometimes we need to appreciate that governors are put in tight corners. But having said that, I think there is also wastage, which is not necessary. Like when to go to, you know, to another county because there's a higher per diem. Like they like to go to Mombasa, they like to go to Nakuru or Naivasha, they like to go to Kisumu, where you get higher. I think there should be a law which says that when you have meetings discussing things about your county, you stay in your county. You know, you even give business, you know, to those hotels, and sometimes even you use the county infrastructure. So there is wastage which can be, you know, avoided. But having said that, there is a lot of money which the national government uses, which should belong to counties, like money in health. You have, you know, Afia has a lot of, you know, money being spent there, even in agriculture, in employing TVETs and so on. So we have not also reached the point where we have said, you know, what are the functions of the county and why the money should follow those functions. And the national government should not do things that are supposed to be done by the county. So there's a lot of tidying, to, you know, to make. But it's true that we need to improve a lot on the on-source revenue so that we collect more, particularly the land taxes. Those are dicey, and we need to focus more, you know, on that and automation. You know, that is necessary. But and the last point, you know, for example, if you take Ukambani, or you take Nyanza, or you take Rift Valley, you find that there are political parties that kind of control those areas. And so when we look at how the governors and the county executive and the assemblies are doing in those areas, we should also ask the parties that dominate there to be also accountable, because they should be asked, you know, how are your governors doing? You know, how are your MPs doing? And there hasn't been good synergy between CDF and devolution funds. I think we need to see all those devolution funds. How do you synergize them? How do you make sure that they work together? Because counties where MPs and senators and MCAs and governors are working together, there is more rapid implementation of projects and development. But where that is not happening, governors have to really work very hard to make some things to happen.
I see that. I mean, you've mentioned some of the aspects that I wanted you to mention on, that is on the political parties' interference when it comes to devolution and just leaving the counties to do their own job, but also that influence on national government. And I wonder what you have to say, Karugan, this is that influence on national government in some areas. For example, you know, when it comes to health, and there's a time the Council of Governors actually accused the national government of, you know, still interfering, having so much influence. So the counties are like, Sasa, now what do we do? Should we return this then to the national government so that we have other areas that we need to focus on? But even so, also talking about setting the priorities right, because like we said, we need to have the power belonging to the people and not working the other way around. So what are some of these priority areas that you feel if we put this in place, then devolution would work better and 10 years from now would have totally different conversation?
Thank you very much, Winnie. I am privileged to be in the UDNEC. And I'm very happy because what is contained in our manifesto, because in the UDNEC I represent all the MCs, represent who are elected on the UDA ticket. And what is most impressive about the current government is that what is contained in our manifesto is what we are implementing as a government. Now, I'm sure
lots of people would disagree because we were given very huge promises.
They cannot disagree because you see, look here. The governors,
and I'm curious to also hear what he has to say, but okay, go on.
The governors, number one, as we said, for the first time since the advent of the devolution, the national government doesn't hold the counties anymore.
Anything,
Then there is something that the president, and he went out talking about it as we campaigned. Now he's implementing it. Number one, on the issue of fertilizers. This is a policy coming from the national government, but it's being implemented by the county and the national government at the grassroots levels. And the president have actually said, this cheap fertilizer, the subsidized fertilizers, it has to go all the way down to where the people are. You know, for example, like in Nyeri, people had to go all the way to Sagana or Kirajo, but now the president has said in every sub-county that fertilizer has to be there.
Okay.
Look, there is this issue of community health promoters. Now they are not health workers anymore. The national government will be paying them 2,500. The county government will be paying them 2,500. Okay. This will greatly improve, you know, matters health in our counties. Okay. In fact, I remember my first motion during this assembly, it was about the CH fish. But now you see the national government has taken over, and now they want to partner with the county governments, and this will work very well for health in our counties.
So you're saying strengthen that partnership between the national government and the county. But then again, boundaries. To what level should this happen? Because again, there's so many people who would say, but listen, to quite confused.
No, you
We're
see,
like, so...
No, you see, the good thing is, and maybe even Professor will agree, that where we started is not where we are. Okay. We cannot outrun ourselves. True. So the thing is this, what we need a controlled way of getting resources down there. Okay. And, for example, I also represent my county assembly in the county assemblies forum. And what the county, we are led by our chair, the Elgio Marakwet Speaker, Speaker Sabulei. What again we have been fighting there is for money to come from exchequer to the wards. We have the ward fund. The ward fund, yeah. And it will operate in the same way like the MPs operate. But the MPs don't want that because they think we shall lie for them in popularity. You see, we want money. Yeah. You know, when we have that 40 million coming from exchequer, and I sit down with people in my ward, all the MCs in this republic sit down with the people from their wards, and they decide we want this and this and this. In 5 years, we shall have a lot of development. But now, MPs think we are rivaling them. We are not. As Professor says, we need to, we need to harness, our strength. Yeah. And for the benefit of
the people. It's not about you and your positions and all those things.
Honorable. Even Mheshimiwa, I could hear he was giving 5 because we are the bottom of devolution, so we know how it is working.
Okay.
I think I justified my reason why I gave 50%. Okay. Because devolution is still dogged with many issues. True. And we are still correcting so many issues and fixing them. Yeah. But let me start by saying from onset, I would have I would love to have MCAs having what we call World Development Fund, similar to MPs, the CDF. Okay. No doubt about it. Yeah. Because I know when we get World Development Fund, I'll be offloaded of many responsibilities will be offloaded from me, and we are going to collaborate and work together. Okay. Nobody should fear competition in politics. Okay. If you are good, you'll be elected by people. And furthermore, we are serving the same people. When you have money, in fact, the more we devolve the money, the better.
It's one thing to say, we need
staying in national government. Yeah. I think I need to correct my friend here. No money, actually, no single MP should actually fight what we call World Development Fund. I was one of the people who supported BBI, which suggested we should have, of course, World Development Fund. And I think it will be a good idea to have it. Yeah. Because it will mean more resources to the ground. And most of the responsibilities, like the ones I have, people come to my place with health issues, which is supposed to be a counter affair. Yeah. But still, I assist them. Come to the area MP. Yes. Yeah. So one thing I need to say, we need to collaborate the national government and county government because we are serving the same people. There should be no competition who is supposed to do this. And even recently, I met my governor, and I was very clear. The number of roads we are going to do, I'll be consulting you which road I'm fixing, because I've been even doing with Keraman some of the unclassified roads, and I usually inform my governor. But there's no circumstances should not arise when I'm doing a certain road. A certain governor comes and claims
that they're the one who
is the one doing
in
it.
charge of the scene. So you're saying there should be like clear cut
just
oversight to see
come up with strategic plan,
Yeah.
match it with governor's plan.
Okay.
What governor needs to do in your constituency. I've shared my strategic plan with my governor.
Yeah.
And he's pretty implementing it very well.
Okay.
In terms of this. So there's
Working
no
in
way
synergy.
actually we should ever fight governors in any aspect, because constitutionally we are not supposed to oversight governors
Yes.
in any way.
Yes.
That is the work of MCAs, and I've been clear on this. Let us support devolution,
Okay.
because it is for the benefit of our people, the people we are serving, not at this is from another constituency. This constituency I'm serving different people.
Yeah.
The same thing is just you are serving the common mwananchi.
Okay.
Yeah, let us support devolution and let the MCAs stop thinking we are fighting devolution.
Okay.
In fact, we need more resources at the grassroots.
At the grassroots level.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
happy.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I want to echo with what they have said, to echo what they have said, and agree partly with what they have said. I want to say, first of all, devolution is the best thing that ever happened in this country. Since our independence, this is the best thing that's ever happened. It was received in the villages with a lot of enthusiasm. People were very eager, very expectant. This will happen, that will happen. And we are moving step by step.
Okay.
But just to say to put in on what they have said, I think there's a bill which is lying somewhere in the Senate that talked about there was formation of county development committees. That was around 2015 or thereabout, in the first term. And the county development committee was the cure to what they are talking about. Working in synergy. There was a formation of the committee, and I think the people disputed on when senators wanted to be chair, to chair the committees of these development committees for the county that involved the MPs, all the MPs, that the women rep, all that, senator, governor, MCAs, and everyone, where they will have a meeting.
There's still a lot of conversations around all these positions. It's like it's too much.
Let me come.
For one county.
Let me come to the there's a lot of duplication of roles. When he's saying he made a road, a governor comes and claims
says,
it.
you know, the voting is there.
So there's also a duplication of roles when it comes to I want to make a very unpopular statement.
Okay.
Bursaries. When he gives bursaries, a women rep gives bursaries, MP gives bursaries, the governor gives bursaries, it's duplication. Why do I knew that will not go very well. But the thing is, he's saying it's not enough. While I agree with them, we should have consistent meetings and formally enshrined in law that we need to have a committee that oversees the development of the county, which is chaired maybe by the governor and then deputized by a senator or women. You get that. So because that will reduce the duplication of roles, while people come every month, sit down and agree. By the way, if you look around, the leaders in a county who work together, they get development. Very well.
That's true.
Because they go to the president, for example, and present their case. I'm not saying they should do that, but it is what it is. They go to the president with the MCAs, the senators, and everyone on board, and they present their case. A case in point, let's say Embu. I've seen previously what has been there and what is working at the moment. Governor Mbaride is really working hard, and by the virtue that she has brought the leaders together, the senator, the MPs, and all that. And when they go to the national government, for example, to see a minister or a CS in charge of roads, you will see the results.
They speak the same language.
While I've said that, I want to say about something about health, for example. The president it has the goodwill, seems to have the goodwill, and he wants to fix the issues surrounding the health issue. But when you look at the institutions that support the counties, let's say KEMSA, for example, KEMSA needs to be fixed, whichever method needs to be used, because you realize counties are always crying. They made an order of medicine worth 500 million, they get 100 million.
Yeah.
That is.
So that has to be fixed.
Yeah, that has to be fixed.
Okay. Some of those
among
issues,
other issues that needs to be fixed for devolution to work as a whole.
Yeah. I mean, we had CS Nakumicha here yesterday night with Zainab Ismail, and one of the things that, you know, she talked about is the whole aspect about the challenges that are facing, you know, the health sector. Yes, we have come a long way, you know, and especially when it comes to the counties and, you know, healthcare that is available there, and, you know, the level 2 and level 3s and level 4s, you know, of the hospitals there. But still, the biggest issue is, you know, the equipment. There's human resource aspect and all those things. Okay, so as we bring this to a close, I'm happy that we have these two leaders here. We're talking about synergy and how important it is for all of us to work in harmony, because again, at the end of the day, it is for the people and not for individuals. So I'm like, but why haven't you done that in your respective counties? What is preventing you from doing that so that you offer these services? Very quickly, I'll start with you, and then I'll come to you, and then we'll finish with Honorable Kibwana. Yes.
That's why I'm saying there's need to collaborate with everybody who is serving Mwananchi. 6 of us, when we were elected, that is from MCA to president, we were just elected by the same people. Yeah. And there's no need of fighting one another. I like what my women rep is doing. When I'm giving bursaries and it's not enough, she supplements and actually she chips up. Yeah. The same case with governor, the same case with senators, some of the things he's doing. And I think there's no need to fight here. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, from MCA to president, we are not fighting anybody. Okay. Even I've even restated categorically, I'm in Wiper. But I still welcome President Ruto to do development.
You said the support you wanted to cross over, but okay. That's so much to this other side.
I still
because of all the things that are happening. Because
I need the president actually to do developments in my constituency. There's one start project there, which I'm really emphasizing. He has to do it the road, of course. All right. So we need to work together and just develop this idea. Politics are over. It is time to account to people what they gave us. Okay. We have only 4 years now. Yes. 5 years is gone already.
And we need to see. 1 year is
gone. We have only 4 years left to show Wanjiku what we have done to her.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much. Very quickly.
I hope people are listening to the wise words from my brother here, Honorable CNN, and also Professor Kibwana. During our last term, I could actually see in some areas, even including in our areas. Okay. You go and do a road, but because the MP wants to claim ownership, he comes with CDF money, that's the same road. It was total wastage. Yes. You know, we need to mature up, and you see, we agree, as Mweshma is saying here, but luckily,
you leave your bad manners at home and then you work for the people. Okay.
Luckily,
all right.
We have now the leadership we have currently is very matured. I'm very happy with the Honorable CNN. He is appreciating what the president is doing. We as leaders in UDA and Kenya Kwanza, we have very firm instructions from our president, from our party leader, Mheshimiwa Balide. We must serve Wananchi. Okay. And you see, you know, it's good to give credit where it is due. True. The president, just like that mantra, kusema na kutenda. Okay. And one enemy of devolution, because it is good, we say this.
Yes, very quickly, like 30 seconds, because we also need to give Honorable some ample time.
And I'm sure Professor Kibwana will concur with this. Because you see, when we fought for this liberation that we are enjoying today, we didn't liberate ourselves so that we can destroy what we have already gained. Yeah. These things about Mandamano, this is a violence. Yeah. We are destroying our country for what? Instead now you see when people talk, they agree. They agree. So to actually you have violence. If there are issues, we sit and talk. Yes. We built our country. Yeah. But
you supported that actually.
Okay. And he should come over to UDA.
He said he wanted to cross over. Okay. But let's hear from Professor Kibwana. You said we need to reduce waste. stage, we need to synergize, you know, our roles. This is as far as the counties and the MCAs and senators. Let's not fight, but all those things. But most importantly, we need to fight corruption. So 10 years from now, what is the conversation that you want to hear? And what is it that people can learn from you and from Makueni County? Very quickly before we close the show.
Yes, let me very quickly say, when it comes to CDF being implemented by members of parliament, I think that requires to have a framework so that it's really the national executive which is responsible. And that's why it was called national government, CDF, because MPs, they're the ones who oversight the national government. So there is a problem there which requires to be sorted out. And that's why even for Ward Development Fund, like we had a Ward Development Fund of 33 million for each ward of the 30 wards in Makueni. But after the people said what they wanted to do, after the MCAs were involved in that, the implementation was still the executive, so that the assembly would oversight. So that's an issue that requires to be looked at. And I think even the 85% that is left with the national government, there should be a good framework of how that is utilized in all the counties, so that it's not in the counties of where the national executive got most votes. I think that's a framework, and as of now, we can see development towards serving all the areas of the country without, you know, wondering, did they vote for us or did they vote for us? I think in BBI, in a lot of the conversations that politicians have had, they always said that, you know, 35% should go to the counties. The Constitution allows it because it only gives a floor of 10%. So why is it not that we are going towards 35% and even to reserve some of that 35% to youth, to women, you know, to health, to climate change and agriculture, and so that we strengthen devolution. And I like the idea of, and I think this is the most important thing, of that unity. National government and county governments should not really fight, so to speak. Even, you know, Article 6 says about interdependent and complementary and all that. And that's why what Bosco said about that committee, where even the national government heads of departments were involved, and where therefore all the leaders in a county, both county and national, are involved. That's a very important instrument, and yet it has not been farmed up and operationalized, including even a county security, county security authority, where again security matters can be looked at, you know, both national and county government. But I think I'm happy myself. Devolution is going the way it is going. I think in the future there should be more money, you know, to it, like in other, you know, countries, Japan, Nigeria, South Africa. You know, that should happen. And the question of really leadership, you know, the question of leadership, and that's both national and county, you know, where we are value-based, where, you know, we are guided by, you know, the Constitution in terms of the values and no corruption and all that. That's a big thing which will make Kenya go forward when we sort of that. And I hope, as I conclude, that in the talks that are ongoing, first of all, it is a big miss if civil society is not an integral part of it. I heard that, you know, some of the politicians are saying, let the clergy be there, but civil society, and they should not focus on narrow things, but they should also focus on how you strengthen devolution, how you strengthen, you know, the youth position, you know, corruption, and so on, so that Wanjiku the hustler benefits from the impact of devolution and what is happening.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Professor. Really, really great insights over there. And of course, this is a conversation that will continue throughout this week, even as we mark 10 years of devolution. And the devolution conference is happening in Eldoret. We'll have our very own Dan Mwangi and Frida Moka later on to just give us details of what exactly is happening in some of the conversations that will come from the devolution conference under the theme 10 years of devolution, the present and the future. But for now, thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming by today and also sparing your time. An honor to have you, Honorable Kivutha Kibwana, former Governor, Makueni, Charles Nguna, MP, Mwingi West, Kiruga Mesha Thuku, Chinga MC, and last but not least, we also had Bosco Mutegi, governance as well as a leadership expert. Thank you so much for your time today, gentlemen. So let's keep the conversation going online. That is at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on Twitter. We don't have too much time to sample. We're actually out of time to sample your feedback, but just one. This is Fabrizio Romano, who says on Twitter, there is no positive impact in my county. Corruption, nepotism actually moved closer to Wanjiku. And then I think that was Fabrizio continuing to say why the impact is not felt is the choice that we make on leadership. And then last but not least, Jimmy Ngaruya, who says, yes, during Honorable Kabogo's tenure, not anymore. And then another person says, in a negative way. So let's keep the conversation going online at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on Twitter. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Winnie Lubembe, whether in the country or across the border, like Johnny Muruki, all the way from Sirare, Tanzania. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow, same time, same place, right here on Your World. Stay safe. Goodbye for now.